Wild Things is a 1998 mystery thriller directed by John McNaughton and starring Kevin Bacon, Matt Dillon, Neve Campbell, and Denise Richards, as a police detective uncovers a conspiracy behind a case involving a high school counselor when accusations of rape are made against him by two female students. Arrow Video presents this film for the first time on 4K UHD with Dolby Vision and HDR10. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And today, guys, look, I'm all comfortable. I'm over here next to my Blu-rays, and I am so excited to talk about this movie. This is one of the biggest releases, I would say, for Arrow Video of the year, and that is Wild Things on 4K. One of the biggest releases of the month of May, and I'm very excited to get into this one and talk about the movie. We're going to talk about the 4K transfer. We're going to talk about the audio. We're going to talk about the special features, and we're going to talk about this beautiful, gorgeous packaging that Arrow Video gifted us with. So I did a full unboxing on my channel, I think probably like 6 or 7 days, maybe a whole week ago by now. So go check out that unboxing. I'll link that down below. But I didn't get a chance to show off this poster as well in the videos. I'm going to show that off real quick before we get started. So look at this thing. That is just beautiful artwork by Arrow Video. That is the Arrow Video original artwork. I'll try to back up a little bit, and then I'll flip it and show you this is the original poster from the film right there. So yeah, really cool packaging. Again, you got this big thick booklet that Arrow Video is just known for. You can just smell it. I just love that new Arrow Video smell. I love it so much. You could think I'm weird, but you know what? I don't care. I'm here reviewing Wild Things, so you're probably already going to think I'm weird anyway by the time we get done with this review. So yeah, we're going to talk about the movie, though. We're going to talk about everything with this release, and I'm going to paint an overall picture for you guys as to whether or not this is worth a pickup. You know, at the end of this video, you guys will know, is it worth picking up? Is it not worth picking up? I will say that this is $42.99 right now on Amazon. It is available on deep discount for $31.99. So I'm going to link both down below. Yeah, let's talk about Wild Things. You ready to get into this movie? So look, Wild Things is just one of those notorious movies that I grew up with. I knew about this movie. I was like 13 when this movie came out. So of course, I knew of this movie. I had seen parts of this movie growing up, but I had never actually sat down and watched the movie in its entirety until now. And look, right off the bat, I'll get the elephant in the room. Let's get it out of the way here. This movie is known for two big, sex scenes. You have the threesome between Neve Campbell, Denise Richards, and Matt Dillon. And you have the pool scene with just Neve Campbell and Denise Richards kissing and making out and all that stuff. And I will say those scenes are a little risque. They do go for it, but again, it's not as bad as you might think. Like, those scenes are really only like 30 to 45 seconds long. They're rather tame compared to some other stuff I've seen, especially in like Italian giallos from back in the 70s and 80s. It's really rather tame. I think it's just the star power involved. Then you got Kevin Bacon in this movie that shows full frontal nudity in like the last 15 minutes of this film, so you have that as well. I just think that it's the star power involved. It's the people that were involved in those scenes that really make it stand out, that really propel this film up as the classic erotic thriller that it is known to be today. It really just kind of enhances its notoriety as far as that, just the star power that's involved in this. So the movie, the scenes themselves, like, again, they only last like 30 to 45 seconds. So it's really a very small part of this movie. Again, this whole movie is very overly sexualized. It is very sleazy. It is very grimy. It's disgusting. It's set in that swamp setting down in Florida by Miami. So it is a grimy, like, dingy, disgusting film that is very sleazy, and all the characters in this movie definitely play into that. But again, the scenes themselves, I'm like, okay, so this movie's built up for these scenes, and that it's a very small part of the movie. If you're expecting to get Wild Things for like a half hour of it to be like sex scene and pornography with Denise Richards and Neve Campbell, you're not going to get that. So again, it's a very small portion of this movie. So getting into the movie itself, I enjoyed the movie. I really did. And I did watch this as an actual movie this time, as opposed to, what my disgusting 13 or 14-year-old self did with it back in 1999 or 2000 or 98, whenever I watched it. So I watched it as an actual film, and I appreciated it as an actual film. It is a good thriller, a solid thriller, kind of throw some noir elements in there. It's a mystery. It does unfold in unexpected ways. There's a lot of twists and turns, and I mean a lot of twists and turns. The last 45 minutes of this movie are just like twisting back and forth, and you don't know who's with who and who's doing what and who's going to backstab who next. And it's so much to the point that they even have to, which I found to be pretty interesting, actually kind of original. I don't feel like I've seen a lot of movies do this, but in the last 5 minutes of this movie, it's kind of like a post-credit sequence. Like, you think the movie's done, and then they kind of go back, they flash back and just show you the situations leading up to the twists and turns throughout, and just kind of like the behind the scenes machinations and everybody kind of plotting and planning behind the scenes. They show all that stuff that you didn't know before, and they just kind of recontextualize everything and just put things in perspective for the rest of the film. So I did think that was actually cool. It's like a 3-minute scene at the end, just kind of taking you back and showing you how the pieces all fit together. But I enjoy this movie. It's a solid mystery thriller. It's got some good performances in it. I do think Neve Campbell is really good. I think Denise Richards, she had so much charisma. I remember, I just grew up with Denise Richards, obviously. So I felt a certain way about her back in 1997 and 98. Starship Troopers was definitely one of my favorite science fiction films of all time, so I loved her in that movie. This movie, again, I didn't watch, but I used to love Drop Dead Gorgeous as well. Watch that one all the time. Valentine. So Denise Richards is very nostalgic for me, as is Neve Campbell, obviously, with the Scream movies. Very iconic actresses that are very nostalgic for me, and I do enjoy watching them back in their prime, doing their thing. You got Matt Dillon in this movie, who I've always enjoyed as an actor. He's really good in this film. Like I said, just playing a really sleazy character, but you kind of question him as far as how sleazy he is. Like the first 30 to 45 minutes, you're like, is this just a normal guy? Like, is he telling the truth? Is he actually not this guidance counselor rapist that they claim him to be? Is he actually a good guy and he's well-intentioned, and then you find out, oh no, he's not. So spoiler alert. So yeah, Matt Dillon's really great in this movie. His character kind of requires him to go in a lot of different directions performance-wise, and I think he handles that material very well. Kevin Bacon's in this movie. I love Kevin Bacon and everything. He can do no wrong. His character kind of has similar shades of Matt Dillon throughout the film as well. And again, Kevin Bacon I just love and everything. And yeah, as far as the cast, though, the cast is great. You got Bill Murray. I almost forgot I know there's somebody else big in this movie, but Bill Murray's in this movie. He's not in a huge part, but the parts that he's in, you can just tell he's having a hell of a time and just, hamming it up all over the place. Bill Murray's just great and hilarious in everything he's in. So he has some really fun, moments, especially, within the trial sequences and everything, because he plays Matt Dillon's lawyer in the beginning part of this movie. So yeah, great cast, great story. Like I said, it was unpredictable. There was stuff that happens in the final act that I did not see coming. Some stuff I did see coming, and then some stuff that I didn't. I thought that they played into it well. Again, it's not a masterpiece or anything. It definitely doesn't break the mold as far as the thriller, noir genre or anything. It does play more into the trashy side, and definitely kind of invokes more of that eroticism than you would see in a lot of crime thrillers of this era. So again, it's not like total erotica as you would think it is, but it does lean heavily into that with just some of the themes and stuff throughout the movie. So I enjoyed the movie a lot. Again, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was a really good film. And I'll definitely check it out again. It's got a really cool setting. Just that swampy, Florida setting to it, I think just adds a lot to the film. It's not as wild as I feel that most people might think as far as its legacy in film. People think and feel a certain way about this movie, and it is that, but then again, it's not. So I guess I'm saying it's more than what you think it is. So it's actually a pretty solid movie. Going into the transfer on this by Arrow Video. Arrow Video, look, I talk about Arrow Video all the time on this channel. I very rarely give them a negative score as far as their transfer. And look, they did it again. This is a beautiful transfer. Again, that swampy setting, just the scenery, everything looks great in this movie as far as that, the swampiness, the sunsets and the green grass and the lush swampy landscape. All of that stuff just looks very lush, very vibrant. The colors really pop. There is a scene like right before the big threesome where Denise Richards is kind of standing in the bathroom going into the bedroom, and you can see that green neon light from outside shining in. All that stuff looks beautiful. The skin tones, everything just looks great. The facial details, fantastic. So no complaints as far as the transfer. Everything looks beautiful. The costumes, like when Denise Richards, again, I keep bringing her up, but she really is the centerpiece of this movie, let's be honest. But when she gets out of that pool, you see that blue bathing suit, like it pops anyway because it's on her. But the costume, the bathing suit just pops the coloring of it in that HDR. So it is Dolby Vision, HDR10. It's got all the bells and whistles, just Arrow Video. They're always doing great work when they're not, having messed up discs with scenes that repeat themselves. But usually on their 4K transfers, it's top notch and nobody can beat them. And that doesn't change here. The film was shot on 35 millimeter. This is, from the original camera negative, and everything looks fantastic. It pops. This is definitely the best, I promise you, that this film has ever looked. So very high marks as far as the transfer. Now this is, as far as audio, it is a DTS HD MA 5.1 surround audio. So, no Dolby Atmos or 7.1 or anything like that. But again, I'm just listening to it on soundbar, so I don't have all that stuff. There's not as many special features, I feel like, as there is with some Arrow Video releases, but there are two really great interviews, new interviews. One with Denise Richards, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. She is still so charming, just as a personality. I thought she was just really real in this interview. I don't know, she just felt real. Just some of the stuff that she said, I really enjoyed this interview. She was just talking very candidly about some of the news scenes and stuff and what it was like to shoot them, and how it was kind of awkward on set when they were doing that scene with her and Nev Campbell. She speaks of, which I looked this one up as well, but apparently there was a dead body that was found floating in the river on set when they were in the middle of filming this movie, and they had to shut down production and get somebody to come in to get that body out and kind of figure out. So they had their own crime that they were trying to solve while they were filming the movie about their crime. So I thought that was pretty interesting. She also, talks very favorably about Bill Murray, and I think just all the stuff we've heard in the news recently about Bill Murray, about how he's a jerk and how he says inappropriate things on set and how he's got in trouble and stuff. It was, nice to hear that, Bill Murray's a genuine dude, and Denise Richards said that he was nothing but kind to her, back in the day, and she had nothing but good things to say about him. So I thought that was pretty cool. That she said that. Yeah, she just seems like a really cool chick, a really cool older lady. I mean, Denise Richards is, I think in her 50s now, but I mean, she still looks great. She looks like she had a little, work done there, but she still looks, really good. And it was just a really cool interview with her. I always appreciate when the actresses come back and talk about these movies like that and just how they really propelled them into stardom. Because she talks about, she just did Starship Troopers, and then she came to do this movie, so she hadn't really done much before then. I guess Tammy and the T-Rex she had done, and she just talks about how how this movie and Starship Troopers really kind of put her in the spotlight, and I just think it's cool when actresses recognize what kind of brought them to the dance and made them the stars that they are today, and they come back and they appreciate that, and they give really thoughtful, nice interviews. This interview with her was like 20 minutes, and I thought it was pretty great. I enjoyed listening to it. And then you had an interview with the director, which was also really great, had a lot of great insight. Again, he had a lot of insight on shooting the graphic sex scenes, and also saying how awkward it was on set. He's like, a lot of people would say, oh, you're living the dream getting to shoot all this, all these babes make out and stuff on set. And he's like, no, it's actually not what you think it is. It's pretty awkward when you're on set with all the crew standing around watching this stuff and filming it and getting all the angles and all that. He also talks about like the Kevin Bacon nude scene and how that wasn't originally in the script to be in the movie, and how they just accidentally got it in the shot, which you can totally see how that happened when when the actual scene happens in the movie, but how they accidentally got it in the shot. And in the editing, the person that he was editing with, which I believe was a woman, she was kind of like, come on, we're not taking this out. You can have all these boobs and women over-sexualized in your movie, but you can't show a wiener in here. Like, come on, we got to keep this in. And he was like, all right. And they get with Kevin, and Kevin's like, I don't care if you keep it in. And then they kept it in. So that was a really fun story that they added to the movie. So yeah, really great special features though with both of them. They had the 2 audio commentaries. I think both of them have the director in it and some of the cast and crew. And then you have some of the old legacy features in here as well. I'll kind of just show this up to give you, instead of reading it all for you all and wasting your time. I don't want to waste any of your time. I'll just hold it up there and you guys can read it. But I think all the rest of them are just like deleted scenes, some outtakes, some old like archival interviews, on-set interviews from back in the day. So some good special features in here. Just great packaging, just top-tier packaging by Arrow Video. They just do such great work with everything that they do. So look, with that's my review for Wild Things in 4K. And look, I'm going to recommend that you pick this up. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's a great release by Arrow Video. I don't know if I can quite recommend it at the $42.99 price point, but again, if you really want this packaging, which is absolutely beautiful, you're going to have to pick it up sooner rather than later, because they will not always have these big box sets. You know, these are going to sell out eventually. But appreciate you guys watching my review of Wild Things in 4K. Please like this video, comment down below your thoughts on Wild Things. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are in the description, and we'll see you next time.